There's so much to consider. There's the intellectual aspects, the fantasies, instincts of all kind, and the intuitive notions. There's also philosophy and language. There's the uncontrollable impulse, and there's the strategic calculation. There's hallucinating dreams, and there's lots of memories. And they all happen at merely the same time, in more or less the same space. It happens to the infinite human brain. About memories, for instance. I was about 5 years old when I started seeing things, strange things. Let's call them mirage kind of things. For instance, I saw a garden in our attic. She needs a room of one's own, the doctor said, and so occurred. And because of that quiet room, and through drawing, daily life became a little less chaotic. And in this lucid solitude, it became possible to transform all those details. Details of life outside and life inside the head, in dots and lines, in fields and colors. At about 6 years of age, language came by to complement this drawing, and there and at that time I noticed that writing could be done backwards, in reverse. And it could only be read through the looking glass. So even if I could do it, I had to see what I had done in a space-time later. Well, that unnerved my days even more. Now it became possible to wonder about the various details of life without being distracted by too much information at the same time. Now I could copy my own thoughts without any doubts or even self-censure. To practice, I copied the first and last chapter of the book Tijl Uilenspiegel in this newly found mirror writing thing. And after that, it was a firmly rooted part of my brain. Two hands simultaneously and from the outside in and the other way round was nice, but the left hand remained quite clumsy, so it never really became fully in sync. And that's why I stopped doing that. Upside down was good too, but again, less interesting. It must have been when I was about 7 that during grammar in school we were taught how to deal with prepositions. And you know what? These lessons awoke me from my daydreaming school days. Language was drawn here today. A tiny bird hovering in, under, about, and above and behind a cage told us the whole thing. They showed what was meant by bepalingen van plaats en tijd. Well, at least that's how I remember things. Here I started to be interested in frameworks, in formulas and rules, in favorably self-constructed, say made-up natural laws. In order to bring the outside world in symmetry with my inside world, I needed a little more of that order in my chaotic system. So what else is there? Oh yeah, my sense of time and space also has its own patterns. Time, and having time to do things, has hardly anything to do with clocks, but with having a time space in, let's call it, the room in your head. And my sense of direction in space, and space meant here as a sense of direction, say like in a street, is infallibly 180 degrees wrong. Now this might have something to do with the uncertainty principle of Heisenberg, or just with being short-sighted during daytime and seeing miles away in my depth field, in my clearly focused dreams, I fancy. Well, that's how I'm reflecting on issues like this, with of course more wandering consequences as a result. So mirror writing has not only a very beautiful but unreadable calligraphic side, it also has a meditative side. To be able to do it, one has to land in, like, the other zone. One has to surf various brainwaves, like a psychonaut. That's how I feel then. It's like how a dream or an inside mirage is being caused by certain wavelength in the brain, I suppose. That's how I think I use those meditative wavelengths. And it's the same thing actually as making the water pictures. Making those photographs is essentially, or even intrinsically, the same as writing backwards. It has to do with stopping time while moving. In the case of unable to read what one writes, I roam my paper surfaces, waiting for undiscovered mental processes. And in the case of the photographs, I wander through town's maps, looking for a moment which I suspect to be unseen before. Now that won't happen until I forget everything. All the deals made, all about time and space. And then I may see it afterwards. One of the many faces of the reflected mirror water time spirit.